Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing good today. So I hope y'all enjoyed yesterday's video about Project Phoenix, but today we're talking about Project Fuel Snake. We're going to get the engine in it today. So far this morning I've got the rear main seal put in, pilot bearing, hung the new flywheel, and King Cobra clutch kit. I'm going to show you guys I got transmission cleaned up. I did put the new bearing retainer on the trans, bearing retainer seal, a new tail shaft seal, clean the transmission up a little bit. I got the bell housing detailed. I've got a new clutch fork, new transmission mount, and I got all the nuts and bolts cleaned up, ready to install this thing. New Ford reman starter. So I'm going to show you guys what all parts I got laying here on the floor that I keep looking at. But first I'd like to say thanks for watching my videos. It really means a lot. I do these just to help you guys out and show you how I do my Fox body stuff. Like I said, if you got any questions, you can hit me up at foxjunk73@gmail.com and leave a comment below if you have any questions. Like I said, I hope you enjoy these videos. So I'm going to show you what all I got done on the motor today. I'm going to get it assembled, get the transmission on the engine, and I'm going to drop it in. So let's check this out real quick. So far, we've got the cross member all cleaned up, ready to go. The exhaust hanger, that's a brand new transmission mount with the mount reinforcement. This is the T5 for the car. I did the new Ford tail shaft seal, aftermarket steel bearing retainer. I installed a new seal on that as well. Got the transmission all cleaned up, ready to go. Like I said, that's a new transmission mount, exhaust hanger, and got the all cross member for the trans cleaned up really well. Bell housing looking super clean also. So we go over here. Like I said, I got the new King Cobra clutch kit installed with the new flywheel put in there, looking shiny and new. I still need to fix that ground wire. Got to take care of that. Probably do that once it's in the car. There's my new Ford reman starter. I've got all the bolts all cleaned up, ready to go. Bought some new set of starter bolts from LMR. Now, surprisingly, those are correct for once. Last couple of times I've just got regular Lowe's or Ace Hardware bolts from them, so that was a good surprise. So that worked out well. Also, if you can see, I got some new Dan Carpenter's making correct starter wires for these now. I got all that done, installed on the motor. It's ready to go. Just got to hook it up to the starter once it's in. It runs over here to the side. It comes with all new brackets as well that are nice and stainless steel looking. And it goes up in. See how it bent the hook? Like I said yesterday, kind of hitting the header or the valve cover. So that's it for now. Like I said, I got everything ready to go. Got all the wiring out of the way. Just gonna put it all together and slam it on in there. So if you want to hang out, I'm gonna get the engine installed, or sorry, get the transmission bell housing put on the motor here real quick. Got the new clutch fork. It's on the table. If I can show you that, it's right here. Ford racing kit comes with the clutch fork and new cable. So again, thanks for watching. Stick with me and get this transmission put on this motor, and we'll get it in the car. All right, so I got the trans put on the motor, got the starter put on. Show you guys that real quick. Then I'll show you guys putting the engine in the car. So let's check this out real quick. So we got the bell housing on, the new Ford starter on. It's that new Dan Carpenter starter harness. Looks really nice. Some LMR starter bolts. They got it right for once. Check that out. New starter harness. I like how it's all zinc plated, silver zinc. Everything looks good. Got a towel wrapped around the trans. Don't want to mess nothing up. Got the new clutch fork in there, working the way it should. That's right here. Anybody wants to know, it's the Motorsport part number. Where's that? Down right there. It's the clutch fork and the cable. It's like 49 bucks. So got it all ready to go. Got the dipstick tube in. Got the O2 harness zip tied around the dipstick like it's supposed to be from the factory. Looking kind of crazy, but that's how they do it. Still a few things left to do. Oil pressure sensor. Got to take that Hastings filter off. Put a nice painted gray one on there. Got to paint the valve covers and a couple other things. So without further ado, let's get this thing put in there. Should take more than a few minutes. Ready to go? Everybody asks me how I put my engines in, whether I put the transmission on or I don't put the transmission on. So I've always done it this way. I've probably done 5 or 6 03 Cobras like this as well with the supercharger and a T56 on. Some people prefer to put the transmission on in the car, just put the bell housing and the clutch on, but me, I find that if you don't got the clutch lined up right, it's a pain in the butt to do it that way. I guess you can always test fit your transmission before you put it in, but this is kind of how I do it. Get it over the radiator support since it's all fresh paint. I don't want to scratch that up. Hopefully it don't fight me, but so when you get to this point and you got a nice painted radiator support like I do, you want to push it back. You have the shifter gun on there, just the trans. Like I said, I got everything out of the way earlier already. Oh, stuck on my dolly over there. It's hitting on the car. So I didn't have it centered in it. I don't want to hit my radiator support. Oh, that's what I can do. It's the easy part of having it on dollies, y'all. Move the car. You know what they say, work smarter, not harder. That's my chain falling off the engine. Towel stuck on the heater box screw. I'll get some harness here for a second. So with the car on the dollies, I wasn't thinking, but that makes it super easy to center the engine. Honestly, that's the first time I've ever put one in with the dollies. Probably be doing that from now on that way. So now, when you get to this point, you got to watch the headers over here. It's hitting on the steering shaft a little bit. But again, the car being on these dollies, man, that holy smokes, that worked that well. You see where the header's real close to the steering shaft down here? Just pushing on the oil filter a little bit. Jack it up just a little bit. Move the car over some more. Might have to. So I've got to the point where now I've got to jack the transmission up a little bit under the car. See down in here where this stud is at down here in the bottom, it's almost ready to line up perfectly with that hole. Just be careful of that other side, because right now it's a little bit off of here on this other side. I need to keep an eye on that side, make sure I don't scratch that paint on there. Okay, that side's in the hole. That side's in the hole. Alright. So there it is, guys and gals. Everybody asked me how I put them in. That's it. And I will tell you, these dollies helped really well this time. This is the first time I've ever put a motor in on these dollies. So this side set in really, really nice. The peg lined up super easy. I was looking at this motor mount earlier today. I've still got you got an alignment peg down in there, so I've got to tweak that mount just a little bit to get it popping the hole down there. But it should go in no problem. So that's about it. I'm going to finish getting the motor mount nuts put in there, the cross member bolts, and once I get the engine hoist out of the way, I'll show you what it looks like. Alright y'all, so I got the motor back in, complete. Got the cross member kind of just sitting in place. I didn't tighten the bolts up yet because I'm not to that point. So I got the motor put in. I looked at the video, probably 7 minutes to install it by myself. Wife videoed why I set it in there. Now I will tell you, setting the car on those rollers, this is the first time I've ever done that. It did help a lot. Previously, I didn't know if my engine hoist would go up high enough, because with this car sitting on these roll-arounds, these dollies, it probably lifts the car up about another 6 to 10 inches off the ground. I wasn't sure my engine hoist would go up that high with the transmission on it to clear the radiator support, but it did. So from now on, that's how I'm going to do it. That way, if the engine hoist needs to be moved around, or it's not centered or whatever, I can just move the car back and forth. So you know what they say, work smarter, not harder. So that helped out a lot. I still learn stuff. That I guess I should have learned that a long time ago, but it's the first time I've ever tried that, so it worked out pretty well. So I'll show you what the engine looks like sitting in there. You've already seen it, but it's sitting in place where it's supposed to be. There you go, y'all. Looks pretty good. I got it in there without scratching anything. Got it sitting in place. I got a few other things I got to do. I got the EFI harness pulled around where it needs to be. I got to clean up the AC hose a little bit. I've got to put the new master cylinder. I've got an NOS master cylinder going in it. I probably should have done that before I put the engine in it, because the brake lines are kind of a pain in the ass. These ones that go on the bottom for the prop valve. But we'll figure it out. So we'll show you guys underneath the car real quick. Those of you who haven't seen under this thing, watch my past videos, what it looks like. So look how clean that thing is underneath there. So if you want to watch some past videos on this Project Field Snake from when I got it, normally I'll build a car like this in about probably 4 months. Moving to Kentucky kind of put a shaft on that, and me being lazy this summer didn't help much either. But so I've got to put the nuts on the transmission mount. I haven't done that yet. I do have the bolts on the cross member itself, and I've got to put the drive shaft in it. I've got a brand new aluminum drive shaft that's going in it. Those are getting kind of spendy. So that's the bottom. Anybody interested what it looks like underneath? So the bottom of this car is probably over restored, but that's just what it looks like underneath the car. And the rear end, it's getting kind of dark back here in the back, so you really can't see it, but I'll do a video on that later. I've got all the brakes, all new stainless lines, and all new exhaust hangers and stuff. New flange on the rear end, pinion flange. I still got to put the snubber bracket on the rear end for the 93 Cobra. When I had this rear end sandblasted, the housing, I didn't have him do that at the same time, so I've got to put that back on set too. So yeah, that's it. Sitting so long and get some cobwebs. Look at that. So that's it underneath the car. Anybody interested? That's what it looks like. So for those of you working on cars by yourself, yes, sometimes it's better to have 2 hands, but I've been doing it like this for a long time. I've probably done, what do you think, hon? Probably 4 03, 04 Cobras like this by myself from the top with the transmissions on them. To me, it's just as easy. I wish I had a lift sometimes, but I think if I had a lift at this point in life, I'd have to reinvent the way I do stuff. So again, thanks you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. foxjunk73@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to ask. I'm going to try to get this thing buttoned up hopefully by next week. I've got to make a little small trip this week, I think. So, and it's raining like hell tomorrow, so I might not do much tomorrow. So again, thanks for watching, and y'all have a good evening.